Woo! Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Vybin with Autumn Le Poete. I am Autumn Le Poete, and we have some cool guests in here for today. We got to my left DTM, aka
Daniel the Messenger.
there we go. And then we got CJ the Great right here on my right.
Yes,
On
sir.
my left.
It's your left hand.
Definitely, it's small. It's looking weird, y'all. I'm still getting used to this, y'all. Just bear with me. But so, as you guys know, this is my first podcast for the year, and I hope this will be more of an opportunity for me. But in the meantime, we just gonna be some young folks talking some real smack. All right. If you for it, give us a like. Give us let's see what we got in the comments. All of that good stuff. So it's legit, y'all.
Smash the like button.
Smash the like button.
Say we're gonna be young. I'm almost 30.
Some people we still young. We still in our 20s, so hey.
Hey, we young.
I feel like you're not old till you 50. I feel like 40 still young too.
Yeah. I feel like you're only as old as you feel.
Absolutely.
That's what I feel like.
I feel like age is nothing but a number.
Hey, it's the truth though. Look at that older couple. They be out there skating and stuff,
Heck
dancing,
enjoying life,
doing TikTok dances and everything, and be killing it.
Well, look at
It's the beauty of life, That's what we got cooking up.
So yeah. All right, I need to. So we literally just gonna be talking about everything under the sun, just from a young mindset. You feel me? Because normally, respect your elders, but ain't no elders in the room, so we just gonna
respect the elders.
We still gonna respect the elders, but this it's time for the youngest to shine. You feel me?
We gonna respect them because we know y'all listen.
Facts. Facts. So I guess to start this thing. Hey, Lexi. It's kind of hard. I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of. So, what do you want to talk about, guys? Let's see. We can talk about life. We can talk about love. We can talk about responsibilities as a young adult. That's a good one.
I mean, yeah.
It's hard. I hate for
it is hard, Like I said, me on the upper side of 28, it feels like it's been a longer time, or the 20s anyway. It's been like a longer time we've had to establish responsibilities and take on life, especially after leaving college, because college was its own thing. But it does get hard. But I feel like as time goes on, we always learn and piece together things, and things start to make sense a little more. You start seeing patterns. You start making more sense out of life.
And did that happen for you recently, or did that happen like after college? Did that happen after graduation?
Both. More so recently though. You just go through certain things in life, and I don't know where everybody's faith is watching this or whatever the case may be, but spiritually you start feeling things or seeing things or acknowledging patterns that kind of make sense in life, and you start to see the path that you're supposed to go, or get a hint of it, because we don't really know our purpose until we do. But you start making sense of things and seeing how things work out, and that started happening more recently for me.
Was it like when you really got out there and started adulting?
Oh yeah. And even now, in my current stage, like adulting ain't the easiest thing in the world, but it's something that as adults we have to adapt to.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. So now we still are trying to find out the answers. Everybody has their own pace. There's no particular pace for every single person. So we get caught up in pressuring ourselves to meet that pace, that imaginary pace.
We see all these movies with these Black couples, these college sweethearts who eventually left college and went directly into their field. That's not how it is. I guarantee you, it takes a minute to even attempt to get a job in your field after graduation. They don't just hand you the ticket to,
Yeah.
You gotta wait a little bit. They don't. And then a lot of these jobs out here, a lot of these career people want experience. They don't want fresh, out of college young adults, even though you come with everything that you need. You feel me, like the the drive to do what they need, the dedication, all of that. They don't care. They care about experience. They care about what you can produce. And that sucks. But it's the reality, you know?
What y'all think about like I'm sorry, what you was gonna say?
Oh, well, I was just gonna, chime in and say that I think the biggest thing about where I am in my late 20s, I would just say accepting a lot of change. Changes within myself, changes within the people that I'm around. Oh, I'm sorry. Changes within myself, changes within the people that I'm around, changes within the relationships that I have, whether they're new, whether they've been long lasting. It's just constant changes, like every day almost. People are getting older, they're passing away, friends are growing older, and taking different paths. And so by nature of that, a lot of things are changing, and I feel like this is the realm of that, especially in a lot of people that we know.
Yeah.
So
it just feels like it's a collective movement. Like as far as like how people's lives be going, you start to see a lot of people at one time, going through things or moving up or moving down, whatever the case may be. It seems to be like a collective thing. Something in
so we got a question. How are you dealing with these changes?
Prayer.
I would just say it really just depends on how it comes, because like CJ said, I definitely have to say prayer, because you have to have on your armor anytime you step out the house. So it's like, as long as you got your armor and as long as you don't allow your faith to yield, I feel like whatever situation you face, God gonna give you the tools. It's just you have to be able to decipher what tools to pull out to which battle, or to pull out to what task at hand. So, and then also having a support group, being transparent and being able to reach out to those people that you can be naked in front of. And I don't mean that like physically or literally, but I mean that from a figurative sense or a spiritual sense, like having that support system. And mental health is important. Like, that is so important in the Black community. Is not talked about enough. And for some of us, it's shunned if you talk about going to see a therapist. But mental health is very much needed, because you have your emotions, you have the emotions of other people, and like I said, life is forever changing. So it's like you got to be able to get that off in some form or fashion. So yeah.
So what would you say is your therapy?
Music. For sure, music. Hands down, music.
I find a lot of solace in different things. Just sometimes some of the smaller things. I like going on morning drives. I find peace in that. I have a cat. Yeah, right. I have a cat in Savannah that I don't have possession of. He gave me a piece of solace. Shout out, little homie. That's my cat name.
Little homie.
Yeah, little homie the cat. That's his full name. Little homie the cat.
Did y'all leave? Y'all just left?
Yeah, give us a like for little homie the cat.
Oh, okay.
But as far as dealing with some of your issues, I think one of the most important things might be like self-realization or self-awareness. Absolutely. Being aware of who you are, because who you are is way more complicated than what it seems on the surface. You have like a ego, you have a person that's on the surface. So you got a couple of things you got to deal with before you like present yourself to the world. So I think that self-awareness is one of the biggest things. To know yourself, that's the first step in knowing anything in life, I feel like. So that's one thing that helped me, is just really taking a deep look at myself, look inward, when things are going wrong in life. Sometimes you might see a lot of things going wrong and want to look a bunch of different directions, point a bunch of different fingers in different directions. Granted, it might not always be your fault, but still look inward. See how you can change and make that change. Be a change that you want to see. There's always
2 sides to the story at the end of the day.
And that comes with growth.
There's 2 sides. When you can admit your portion of whatever happened, that's a different level of growth. It's not always just, but he did it or she. No, there's definitely 2 sides of that spectrum.
You never grow if you don't ever look inward and see what you contribute to the world. You're just gonna be looking at where everybody else contributing to your situation, and they'll never get fixed because you will never acknowledge what you need to do to fix your situation.
Mhm.
So I think that's a fundamental step in self-growth, self-awareness, and XYZ.
You got another question. Your generation is the next to run the world. What do you think you would do different to be an asset to the stabilization of this?
To be completely honest, not push the narrative that college is the way to make it. And I have a degree, and don't get me wrong, like I plan to go back and get my master's as well, but I do feel that for a lot of us, we were really told like college is the way. Go to college, go to college, go to college. But what they don't tell you is that it's best if you go with a plan. Like have an idea of what you want to do, which in all actuality, everybody at 18 is not going to know.
Right.
And I honestly feel if you are going to go to college without anything necessarily set in stone, I don't see nothing wrong with taking some time to work, stack your money, and then go.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that because
it's no race.
Yeah.
You could be 30 with 4 kids. You can go in, you feel me? But it's all about stabilization and being able to handle the pressure of college. Because college is pressurable, boy. It's like you have so many expectations, not only just on yourself, but on the institution. And you just sitting here like, oh, this is not planned, it's not going like I planned. Let's switch the major 1 year in. I definitely did that my junior year, but we're not gonna talk about that,
Sometimes you figure out later on, like, because coming out of high school, you get pressured by your parents a lot to either work, go to school, or get out of my house.
Or go to the
military, or get out of my house.
That's real, especially for Black families. You don't really hear college a lot of that
without really knowing exactly what you want to do. So you might find out along the way based on people you meet and experiences that you might have had.
Thanks.
But I tell my little brother too, like, make sure you know what you want to do before you enter this, because ain't nobody else gonna pay your student loans for you. You know what I mean? So
they add up quick.
Pretty much in there. So
they add up quick. Yeah. So but I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I knew what I wanted to do when I went to college. I was on that, that biology journey. The plan was to be a pediatrician. I love kids. But then when I got to college, I'm not even gonna lie, I sat down with an advisor, and she broke it down to me that there's so many ways that you can help children. You don't necessarily have to just be a pediatrician. You could go into social service. You can go into, of course, teaching. You could do, it's such a broad spectrum. And I was like, wow, I didn't think about that. Now, in that way, it kind of pushed me outside of doctoral, because I really hate physics, y'all, and that's a class that we have to pass if we want to be a doctor, which is so slow, but it is what it is. That's the curriculum, but honestly, absolutely take your time. There's no such thing as rushing. If you want to work right after high school, there's no problem with that. Stack your bread, do what you got to do, live your life. It's your life. It's not anyone else's life. It's yours at the end of the day.
Have a plan though. Know what you're going to do. Absolutely. Don't just buck on the system like, oh, college isn't important, and not know what you're going to do as an alternative. Know what you're going to do as an alternative before you say that college isn't necessary.
And again, with that, like families, I'm not just going to say parents, but families, you also got to, be patient and give them that grace to find out what it is that they want to do, because let's be honest with ourselves. Not all of you knew what you wanted to do when you was that age either. Right. And some of you who are older, who are just now taking a chance to, do what you want to do now that your children are grown, you wish you would have did it when you were younger, or had that support to do what you wanted to do when you were younger. So it's like
capital S.
Again, like I said, to kind of connect with the not pushing the narrative that college is the only way. Give them that patience, give them that grace. Now you know your children, you raised them. So if they're gonna work, they're gonna work. If they not, then that's when you gotta have that conversation of, hey, what you gonna do?
Absolutely. Now they had their lollygagging and showing out, and that's a different story. Yeah. You feel me? There's a lot of hotheads out here, but I feel like those hotheads are birthed because of the lack of knowledge with parenthood. People is literally babies out here having babies, and
Thanks.
in that thing, we got to grow together. There is no you doing your thing, I'm doing mine. It's us together at the end of the day.
Yeah. A lot of parents, I think, go through, like, when we think about us in our 20s, our parents pretty much for the most part had us in their 20s. So when you compare the stuff that we go through with the stuff that they was going through at the time, you got to question, was different. It a fruitful time to have us?
Absolutely.
But, you know, we all go through them circumstances and we have to adapt, adjust, and, as we mentioned before, change in order to make those things work.
And a lot of people don't want to change. A lot of people are stuck in the mentality, the old school mentality. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, because I definitely got a mama, you know, big mama as mama, grandma, great grandmama, you feel me? And that's why I came out to be the way that I did. But that's not the reality of a good bit of these young people out here who's trying to figure it out now. You know, not everybody had a positive role model, and it doesn't necessarily have to just be into like your family, your what is it, immediate the first, you know, it don't have to just be them. It could be a teacher you met in college. It could be someone who mentored you in middle school, you know, shout out to Coach Hill, you feel me? It could be anybody that had that positive that impact on you as a human being. So definitely it's not just about blood relationship, even though it is, you know, they say blood is thicker than water.
Each one teach one. You can learn from anything. You can learn from people that you would think you would never learn anything from in your life. But they could teach you something. You might look at them from a shallow standpoint, like, but they might be actually able to impart some wisdom on you that you never thought about before, just based on their own experiences. And we need to understand more that we all have separate experiences that can help each other out.
As long as we as a generation remain open-minded and less judgmental, I feel like the sky is the limit, you feel me, on whatever you want to do. You never, like he said, you never know who could sow just a little bit of wisdom. Just a little bit. And that little bit of wisdom could take you across the universe and back. And we're sitting in a perfect example of just that. You never know, you know, and you got to take that first step. Love the fact, you know, the gathering spot, Black owned, you feel me? Just greatness for not just Black people, but for everybody who actually wants to put that foot forward. You feel me? So absolutely, I feel like it matters at the end of the day. Everything that has been said so far actually matters to keep generations on the go. You feel me? Gen Z, we gonna call y'all out. You know, I'm praying that you guys learn a little bit from the generation that came before y'all, because we're not too far in age difference for you guys to learn something. But y'all have to be humble and be willing to be taught at the end of the day.
It's crazy because, like, us and Gen Z, like you said, it's not that big of a gap between us.
It's not.
But it's a vast difference.
It's drastically different.
It's crazy.
But go ahead, my bad.
No, I was gonna say, like, it's I think generations are cyclical. I think like every 4 generations, things seem similar from like the previous set of 4. Yeah, so I think everything kind of just repeats itself. I think in this particular generation, Gen Z, they can be compared to maybe the 60s. I think the millennials can be compared to the previous one of the 50s and stuff like that, where we were more rebellious and adamant about making change. I think now this generation, Gen Z, is more comparable to the hippie movement, the Gen Xers, where they were like more free thinking and you know, things like that. So I think everything kind of goes between being rebellious to being free thinking to assimilating back into society. That's probably going to be the generation after Gen Z and things of the sort. But, you know, what do I know?
Is it the time of the Taurus coming up next? Aren't we in Aries right now?
Yeah, I believe we are.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I mean, but it kind of you know, it makes that point. So we got another question. How many plans should you have, and when taking that next step, how do you keep that plan going?
I'll let somebody else go for that first.
What was the question again? How
many plans should you make? Basically, should you have a plan E through Z, you know, and how do you go about keeping that plan going? Like,
Okay. I don't think you have to have a A through Z, E through B through whatever through Z. I think you need to know what you want to do, have a plan for that, and have a plan B and maybe your plan C. But I feel like if you are focused enough on your plan A, you should be able to facilitate it, even if it takes years. It takes 10 years to master something, 10,000 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
So things take time, and I feel like anything where a lot of time is allocated, actual time, actual passion, I think that stuff ends up showing itself in your favor, regardless of what you try to do, because you end up wiring your brain towards that thing. So you have to do a plan A, an elaborate plan A, and then have you a plan B and maybe a C just in case those things don't work out. But I've always been a person that really wants to focus on plan A because plan B is kind of assuming that plan A won't work.
Facts.
But you want to be safe too.
And most importantly, don't rush your process. Not everybody's process is going to be the same amount of time. It's not going to, one person may get lucky and hit the lottery. It's going to take you a couple of takes, because it's a 1 in a million type thing. So focus on that. Don't ever focus on what someone else is doing, because when you're looking at somebody else, you're going to run straight into a brick wall because you're not focusing on what's in front of you. So make sure that you don't rush that process. Don't rush it. Take your little plan A, side B, C, D, go into depth into whatever needs to happen to make that plan flourish at the end of the day.
Make it happen.
Come on now.
It ain't hot here to y'all. Like y'all for real not hot.
No, I'm straight.
I'm good.
Me either.
I would just say, as far as I'm not gonna ever say like you gotta have a plan A, plan B either. I'm just gonna say with whatever plan that you have, always be able to adapt, because unforeseen things are going to always come. And they always say, if you ever want to make God laugh, tell him your plan. Oof. So my thing is
say it one more time.
Whatever plan that you operating with, just be willing to adapt. Be ready to adapt. Be willing to adapt. It's okay. It's just a pivot.
Okay.
It's not over. It's just a pivot. It's just a switch in directions. It's a change it's a different exit than what you thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
In the most ironic sense, change is probably the most constant thing in life.
Yes.
And that's super ironic, but it's the truth. The most constant thing in life is probably change. So you can try to make things remain the same for yourself. I know that was fire. Appreciate it. Yeah. But things, you can have control over your life and things like that. But, just be prepared for change and understand that if things do change, it's not the end of the world. I'm talking to myself as well, too, because, I be wanting situations to change, but they don't always do it on a dime. So patience always takes you a far way. And time is also the healer of all. So, yes, sir.
Woo! It's getting a little hot in here.
Oh, is it?
No, I just did that. No, it's good here. I'm good. Oh. But basically, absolutely. And this is, once again, vibing with the youngins, you feel me? So you're getting a nice little front row seat of how young adults feel. It's from different, spectrums as well. So definitely that is awesome.
Us millennials,
Millennials.
I feel like we're the perfect generation, I might be kind of narcissistic to say, but when you think about like the millennial, we have a perfect balance between like the younger generation and the older generation. The older generation seems to be
quite as old, but
they have a more traditional mindset, and then the Gen Zers have more of a free thinking mindset, and we kind of just in the middle, able to connect both of them.
Absolutely.
So I think that's pretty dope, and shout out millennials.
I think that's how I feel about the 90s, man. It was like
93.
The 90s, man. Like just looking at all those movies, I tell you, it's bad enough that we have that comparison, but it did kind of, spark a little light of inspiration, especially at least to me, because music-wise, come on.
Oh yeah,
come on.
Everything. I think the whole entire culture of the 90s was
absolutely
dope.
Just birthed so much new stuff.
You know how mad I am? I miss Freak Nick.
It's okay. They'll have it again in a couple of years. You feel me? But yeah, man. Like, but I just feel like no matter how much you feel like you've accomplished, there's always an opportunity for you to grow. It don't even matter like how you grow. Just grow. Yeah. You feel me? True. At the end of the day.
That should be everybody's goal is growth. You know, if you constantly focus on growth and also realize that you always have room to grow no matter how much growth you think you've undertaken.
Facts.
You know, once you do that, once you accept that, then you get able to grow even more than you already have. So I think Erica said what the smart person
knows nothing at all.
Yeah.
The smart person understands that as
they know nothing at all. Facts. So yeah, pretty much when you understand the fact that you don't know nothing and you have a lot of room for growth, and that's when you enable yourself to grow.
Absolutely. Consistent teaching mentality. You always have that mental to be able to be taught. There's nothing stopping you from taking over the world. You feel me? So
what is that line?
Absolutely.
He who knows something knows that he knows nothing.
Knows nothing at all.
Yeah. How much does music play as a factor of your life and your balance?
So I kick that one off. I'll put it to you like this. When in middle school, I had real bad insomnia. And the only way that I could go to sleep is if I had music playing. Joyce Littell's Quiet Storm on B103. I would never forget it. That is literally where,
that's it.
That's
or
like
104.1.
Those late nights was literally where I started falling in love with music. Because even if I got tired of listening to the R&B, I would sneak. I had a speaker system that still had a cassette on it. Oh my God. And my dad had all his old cassette. Yeah, for real. It's showing your age. 40. My parents were born in the 60s, so hey, it is what it is.
But that boy got a CD player to this day.
No, I don't.
To this day.
No. But yeah, had my dad cassettes with he had Tupac, he had all the good stuff in there. So and right now it's an outlet because I can take what I experience, what I see, how I feel, and put it in the music. So I started out doing poetry, and then meeting CJ, it led into music. So for me, it's an outlet. It helps me have balance. It even helps me sometimes figure things out internally. Like as I write stuff out and I'm reading it, it's helping me kind of connect certain dots to things. Certain traumas, certain connections of things, So for me, it brings me great balance, honestly.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like when you go back and like read some of the old lyrics you have to see where your state of mind was. And you be like, yo.
Yes.
First of all, I'll be fired. You be like, dang, I'm fired. Like,
even as a starter, even as a chick.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Then you notice patterns of how you was writing throughout a certain course of time, but then realize where your head at, and it kind of becomes introspective for you. Like you start to understand yourself a little bit more. So music also can be a source of understanding when you realize what you was expressing. Because I feel like music is, in my case, and probably BTM and Autumn's case, music and poetry are probably like the most rawest forms of expression.
Absolutely.
So when you touch base with that and actually be able to analyze, it's kind of like writing your dreams down. Mm-hmm. When you write your dreams down, see the connections over a period of time, you start to see the connections. Same thing with music.
Yeah, man. As for me, man, I don't think I can remember a time without music. You feel me? Only time I don't think I sang in choir was 6th grade, and that was when I was getting used to Atlanta. But music runs in my veins. You feel me? Even when you try to avoid it, it comes back on you like a bad habit real quick. You just be sitting here like, you know what? I missed you too. All right, cool. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I started out singing, and that's because of who my parents are and who my grandparents are, and who my great-great-grandparents are. Oh, they can sing. You feel me? But when I went to college, that was really when poetry started for me, and that was helping me cope with the anxiety that I was having in college. I am not going to tell you that college was easy for me. It was not. And it's really because of the pressure, the fact, hey, I'm the oldest. I wanted my siblings to see, hey, you can go to college. You can do this. You can do that. But underneath that was a lot of pressure and a lot of anxiety. And I used my spoken word. I literally used my voice to kind of bring me back to life. I tell anybody without a shadow of a doubt, poetry and music saved my life. You feel me? And it keeps me grounded. It keeps me understanding that this world ain't gotta be ugly. You feel me? It could be music. It could be beautiful. It could be melodic. It could be free form, as long as you allow it to. It's all about your choice at the end of the day. And that was for me, real rap. Facts. But definitely, we got another one. Can you please share your favorite book or book that has had the most impact on your life? Ooh. Books. You put me on the spot with that one.
I ain't gonna lie. I got my answer, but it's not gonna be what you think.
I can't really put my finger on which one. Now, granted, I used to have a lot of books and read a lot, and I still do here and there. But most of my reading now is spotty. I do research on certain things that pique my interest. I think everybody's like main two is Think and Grow Rich and Rich Dad Poor Dad. Everybody say that. 48 Laws of Power, Art of War, things of that sort. But as far as the one that had the biggest impact on me, I can't really say. I think I pulled from a lot of different things. I used to read human relations books. I think that's probably where I get most of my that's impacted me the most. I can't remember the title, but I read it a few years ago, and it's kind of just helped me understand people just from a more practical stance. I gotta get back to y'all on the title of that book. It's been a minute, but that has to be the most impactful book because it kind of really taught me how to relate to people and how to see things a little differently, perspective wise. Because I think 95% of life is perspective. Things might seem a little more difficult, but perspective changes the entire difficulty of everything. So, but I'll get back to y'all on that.
And I don't have a book specifically, but I do know books when I was younger just fed my imagination at the end of the day. Like, whether it was fantasy or you name it, whatever genre, I just felt like reading in that moment. It just fed with me being able to literally play the scenario of each chapter in my head, which makes my imagination incredibly strong. Like, that's where the griot portion of me comes when it comes to my poetry. Like, I was reading some stuff the other day and Daniel was like, dang, that's a little mini book, don't you think? And I was like, but that's how my brain works. You feel me? My brain literally just creates a picture, creates imagery out of it. So I don't think I had a book specifically, but I do believe a lot of genres fed to how I think and how my imagination works.
I got one. I think my most impactful book is probably Robert Greene, Mastery. He's the same guy that wrote 48 Laws of Power, but he has a series of books that, kind of tap into like the mental aspect, the more practical aspect of how you approach life and think about things. But Mastery is probably one of the more impactful books because it's not about just mastering one thing. Of course, you got your 10,000 hours and stuff like that. But once you master something, your brain, your frontal lobe, all that stuff, your neurons, they transform and teach you how to master things. You start to get the more of the practical aspect of things. And that's kind of helped, translate into different areas of my life when it comes down to like mastering things or becoming good at things or impacting others even. So Robert Greene, Mastery, that got to be the one that I would say definitely helped me out. They give you examples and historical examples of each chapter too. So once they give you a concept, they give you an example, historical example of how that was implemented in order to make that work. So I think that's probably the one. That's the one for me.
Robert Greene, absolutely. All right.
So yeah, I'm probably gonna sound like a preacher's kid when I say this, but I'm not. I'm definitely not a PK.
They call them PKs.
But but I'm gonna just straight up say the most impactful book that I've read to this day is gonna be the Bible. I haven't read the whole Bible. Hey, look. Soon as I thought about it, answer of all time, boy. Hey, look. Soon as I thought about it, I was just like, I thought about it. I always say Russell Simmons do you. I would say Russell Simmons do you, but outside of that, it's definitely the Bible because it's like I've learned to read the Bible as if like everything in there is a story.
Absolutely.
Everything in there is a poem, and literally some parts, some whole books is exactly that. So it's like for me, that helps me, break down certain things that I may be going through right now. But because that's just where I am in my walk, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I can read it even as young as I am and attribute it to certain things that I've been through and make certain connections like, okay, this is where I was lacking. This is what void I was trying to fill with this. Like, this is how I can counteract that. This is how I can cut off that cyclical nature. Like, so for me, yeah, the Bible, yeah, hands down.
I mean, even though that was funny, but it really does. It does have like a lot of different references that really helps you throughout life, and the further you get in life, the more you start to understand certain things that come out the Bible as well.
Absolutely.
So that's not
absolutely, and it's crazy. It's crazy you said that though, because like when COVID broke out, I'm not even gonna lie, I immediately thought of the Bible. I immediately thought of the 3 plagues, and I immediately. What?
No, go ahead.
No, I immediately thought of the 3 plagues, and it came in. Honestly, it came in threes. The only thing the Lord didn't do was take the firstborn. Thank you, Jesus. But like, I really like planned that thing out, and then it didn't make it no better where I was staying. Thank God for praying grandmothers. At the end of the day, Miss Ruby Jones had her red cross on her door, and it just. It's astonishing just how in sync the Bible is with the real world, regardless of what time, regardless of what, millennia. Everything happens on a consistent basis. There's nothing that happens new under the sun, literally. It's a reciprocating journey.
I think somebody put that in there too.
Yeah, under the sun. My mom's did. But like that, absolutely. The Bible is definitely one of the best influencers. And I didn't think about it until you said it. I'm not even gonna lie, because I was like, oh, but the Bible, would that be good? But it is the whole book, so that's definitely one.
And I'm not trying to sit here and say that as if I'm the most righteous or, I'm the strongest spiritual led person. Like, nah. I recognize that I have a purpose.
I'll be sinning.
So it's I'll be transparent. Yeah, I do sin. I'm not perfect by any means.
Right.
So I just put that out there for you to know that I'm human. It's just that's my honest answer when I thought about it. It was like, oh.
Right.
Like
but that shows where your heart is too,
Because I just think about like moments where I've read and I've had some of the most iconic eureka moments, like that's an epiphany, like, dang.
And it's crazy, bro. At one point, I wasn't even like religious. I ain't gonna say religious. I wasn't even spiritual. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, all of this stuff is a construct, things of the sort. But the thing about faith is, it's like it touches you at a random time where you just understand it. Like, absolutely, you can't really put your finger around it, and you can also gain understanding through more worldly ways that you probably shouldn't. But being touched by God, though, it puts a perspective on you that you can't really put into words. So once you get that, you kind of understand it. So, but like I said, everybody's walk in life is different. And it's about what you put out into the world that kind of expedites that process. So,
Absolutely. One thing about religion and faith, though, we're not going to, go over that. With spiritualism or spirituality, you and you alone have to make that connection. No one can teach you how to make a connection. No one can read you the ingredients of the connection that you're looking for. That's literally a you and the man upstairs type thing.
I do slightly disagree.
What?
Yes, I do disagree.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like
the only reason I disagree with that is because if you think about it, you wouldn't be where you at if your parents didn't pour it into you.
I mean, that, of course, but having that specific one-on-one connection, that I know who he is for me connection, you can only have that. You can only have that with you and God.
Okay.
You're absolutely correct. Like I said, I'm a PK. I get it on all sides of the spectrum. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't. I didn't get that connection until I was in a situation where it was literally one-on-one, me and him. You know, when I figured out that he was real. And one of those was when I was diagnosed with diabetes. I did not expect that. That was a complete side swoop, you know, on my life. I was always the athlete. I was always the goody two shoes. I was always the, you know, that person to look at. But when that happened, it was like my entire world just shattered, because it was like, damn, I'm not as healthy as I thought, or I'm not in that great of a place as I expected. Now, not this too, you know, is it, man, I don't care what nobody say. He'll put you in a place, God will put you by yourself for you to have to figure out the relationship between you and him. We'll make it so that you can't call your mom. We'll make it so you can't FaceTime your dad. Make so you don't have transportation to go to grandma's house. You feel me? He will put you in a position to where you just have to figure it out.
Tell me about it.
You just have to figure it out. And that's the realest thing right there. You know? That's why without a shadow.
I ain't know that.
Oh man.
I know they saw my Facebook. You said that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
like,
it's real. It's real out here. Even though science, you know, diabetes can be reversible.
It can be.
It can be.
Okay.
It just takes a lot of.
It just goes to show you that you don't really know what the next
never
person is
know.
going through, or you know, the obstacles that people have to overcome, and everybody has that and should be understanding of that. Because I feel like we all have understanding of our own situations and how they affect us. Other people don't, but I feel like we all take time to understand each other, what we're going through, or you know, just care at least a little bit about what the next person is going through. It provides understanding that can bring people together. So there's
One
that.
day it will sound since we all responsible for each other.
What they talking about in the comments though?
Right. Oh, we got a comment. She said, "Your guys' transparencies are refreshing."
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's honesty in here. You feel me? There's no.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Transparency makes your life way easier. I promise you. If
Really?
we going around lying, bro, you gotta remember all them lies. You gotta,
Oof, man, you
all
gotta
this capping in the front. And you gotta do. Oh my gosh, man.
And then you about to get
Just
yourself
be
a
real.
migraine.
Transparency helps you not worry about judgment of others too,
Mhm.
because the judgment of others is a huge weight, especially if you care. Like,
The ego.
not to say that you shouldn't just care about, not to say you shouldn't care about what people say or what people think. However, it's okay to take a note of it and keep that in mind, but you shouldn't carry it as if it's the only thing that matters. Like, people gonna have opinions just like they got a butthole.
Absolutely, and they stink too sometimes.
So it's like, you know, you just got to be able to filter, ask for that, pray for that discernment, so you can know what's for you and what's not. Because some things are meant to feed you. Some things are meant to, you know,
nurture
your soul. Other things are meant to distract you and get you off course.
Absolutely.
So it's like, you know, you just gotta decipher between the two.
Yeah, none of us got the answers though, you know, especially us 20-somethings, you know what I mean? We're millennials, but you know, we don't have the answers. So, you know, you have to navigate life and lead the best possible life you can, you know, and things will fall into place from there. They won't always fall into place at the pace that you think it will, but just be the most authentic, truest to yourself person you can be. Try to do right by others, and things will naturally follow suit at some point. So, time heals all.
But keep going. Don't stop.
Yes, sure.
Don't stop. Keep going. At the end of the day.
Any other questions,
man?
Someone said we need to do this more often.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm for it. What
are some things y'all wanna know about us, or know our opinions on, or things of the sort? Wanna brush shoulders with y'all, see what y'all.
Oh, I got one.
What's up?
Name one artist that you feel is your biggest inspiration.
Kendrick Lamar, Andre 3000. You know, so you can tell.
Yeah, Kung Fu Kenny.
Man, I can't stand that. But you know, it's like I'm inspired by him, but I don't like people to be able to hear it all the time. You know what I mean? But you know, nonetheless, though, it's still an honor. I say Kendrick Lamar, Andre 3000, Fonte, and Young Thug.
Ooh, yeah. Fonte.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yo,
that was
I would have expected that one, boy. Wait, okay. Yeah. What about you?
Well, of course, Kendrick as well. Oh, Big Crit, Lil Wayne.
Big Crit, absolutely.
And yeah, I have to attribute it to them as far as where I get a lot of my inspiration from. Yeah, Big Crit and Wayne.
What do you draw from them, like as far as inspiration? Like, what particularly do you draw?
Crit, because that man is a poet. I don't care what nobody say. That man is a true writer.
Absolutely,
If you listen,
Red Eye.
Yes, I was just about to say. If you go listen to Big Crit's Red Eye, the song is called Red Eye. Please go listen to that song, or you can go listen to Every Time. Every Time with him and Baby Rose.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna hear when you hear Baby Rose sing, you're gonna think Ella Fitzgerald is on the song, but it's not. She's like our age. She's 20-something with a very soulful voice.
She played 20-something. Y'all know who she is. She played in she just played in a movie. I think she was playing Mama Help Me Out. I know you know who it is. But she just played a character.
You think about Ruby Rose or Baby Rose?
No, I think it's Ruby Rose.
Oh, yeah, Baby Rose is somebody completely different.
Okay, never mind. Ruby Rose.
I thought the same thing too when I first heard it. I was like, Ruby. What's she doing on it? But,
girl got hypes.
But Every Time by Big Crit, Red Eye by Big Crit. Those are definitely some poetic songs by Crit.
Oh yeah, but to finish answering the question, I'm sorry. And then from Wayne, I love the way he just takes the most simplest phrase and make it sound so like abstract.
His wordplay.
His wordplay and delivery is immaculate to me.
Because he ain't just like a punchline or a metaphor simile guy. He also uses expressions, like common expressions and aphorisms, you know, and makes them into like witty lines. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a very underrated trait from Wayne. People say he fell off, but I don't think
he ain't going nowhere. At all. He ain't going.
It's just his style of music is not appreciated anymore because everybody want to talk about
Carter 3.
The ops this, the ops that.
Exactly. But y'all want to talk about the real.
Your girl want to do this to me. Your dude want to do this to me. Oh, I'm going to be outside your crib lurking. And I got this on. Look at my teeth. Like, everybody just want to flex. So it's like,
absolutely.
So Shanta,
she was just saying Ruby Rose. She was putting it in the group chat.
I let her know it's Big Crit, not Chris. That's all.
Big Crit, Krit.
Yeah, King remembered in time.
King remembered in time. That's
what that means. Right. King remembered in time.
I didn't even notice that. You got good eyes. I definitely didn't see that. But as for me, I don't know. I feel like, of course, without a shadow of a doubt, Anita, Rochelle Farrell, Jilly from Philly, Beyonce, of course. I get that's my twin. I don't see it, y'all. But
I feel like everybody like Beyonce a little bit.
Exactly, but I think her stage presence is what I dream for. I don't know what she do when she get on that stage, but whatever she do, I need the secret code to that.
It's because of how long she's doing it. She's been doing it since she was 20 years.
Since 15 in my stiletto. But Anita Baker, Rochelle Farrell, Deborah Cox, Jelly from Philly. It's a list of them, y'all. Erykah Badu, without a shadow of a doubt. Oh, yeah. You feel me? Like, without a shadow of a doubt. Her classiness, Lauryn Hill, come on now. It's a whole list of them for me. I can't give you a top 5 or a top 3.
Well, okay, you can't give us a top anything, but like, what have you drawn from them that made you inspired from them?
I think it's just that down to earthness of majority of the people that I just named. You know, I looked at an old photo of Anita Baker, and never once did you really see Anita Baker all glamified. She was really natural. She was really just Anita.
That's her.
You
That's
know,
because the standard of beauty back then was
totally
different.
Totally different.
That
And
is true.
I
It's
look
so
to bring
different
that
nowadays.
back. You know, you may see me with a couple of lashes on or something, but bare face all day long. Absolutely. But Jilly, her soul, her charisma, her boldness. It's just you know, you just can't help but just grasp to that thing. And she talks a lot of real factors in all of her music. I don't really think I've heard one song from Jilly that I've had question marks about without a shadow of it.
Straight listen through.
And then on the poetry, you gotta bring Floetry out.
Yeah, I like
Absolutely.
poetry too.
You know, that was a different zone within a different zone.
They perfectly integrated poetry.
They
music.
really did. And
Like
it's just
perfectly.
like, oh,
Yeah.
so I can.
It's like they flowed with their poetry or something.
That was the best duo right there. I don't think there's any duo that did what they did at all.
Yeah. That yeah. Said no duo that ever did what they did at all.
I don't
Not to their same like extent. Like, it's
Put-
different, but
like-
Outkast, you know what I'm saying?
But Outkast was that's Outkast, you feel me? And then
Okay.
that's Floetry.
And then
That's
Outkast.
two different spectrums because they
Okay.
were more on the melodic portion, the crazy blue notes, but they was spitting words. That was wordplay all day long. To this day,
I would say little brother, but Big Pooh
Come
wasn't really
on.
talking about like Big Pooh wasn't really like he wasn't
but
spitting.
Andre was spitting facts, boy. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I can't give you a top 5 for me. There's just I'm like a big old boiling pot of different ports. Like, and it's not even just 90s, it's 80s. Betty Wright, 70s, Ella Fitzgerald. Come on now, you know, it's a big old, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I got range.
I'm kind of the same way because I named all these other artists and stuff like that, or rap connoisseurs, but Young Thug, one of my favorite rappers too.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, like,
Thugger.
you talk about, man. You gotta have some balance,
Absolutely.
man. We always get caught up in like, oh, this is lyrical, this ain't lyrical, or but you have to have a balance between substance and also have fun music, man.
I don't think we have time to do that.
What that is?
Somebody
Yeah, we
wants to
should.
share one of your poems.
Oh, I don't write poetry.
Okay, so
I wrote
That's
I
tough.
don't think we got time for that.
I don't think-
What's up, poet?
Or a song. How about a song? Like or a verse or something.
They give you a nice little quick 16.
Because that's a
But
lot
you're not host,
easier.
you know what I'm saying?
You
host,
no.
you center and everything. You like direct
Right.
center.
Shooby-dooby, boy.
And maybe it literally says vibing with Autumn Lit Poet.
I'm dead.
Right,
Why you gotta call me out?
Give
You're
them-
the face that runs the place.
Give
You know what I'm
Give
saying?
the people what they want.
Why you gotta call me out though? I don't like to be called out.
It gets
Autumn
the
Lit
people
what?
going.
It keeps people. What do you say? It's
Provocative.
yeah.
Provocative. It gets the people going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they say. Whatever that song said.
Flow so hard.
Mhm.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't think we have time for that, you guys.
See, what we don't. It's 7 minutes. You ain't got no poem.
It's definitely 9:56.
Oh,
Say bacon,
okay.
we get married.
I thought it was like on the live, like it was like 53:26.
Oh no, that's
That's how long
60.
we've been
That's
on
how
here.
long we've been on.
I know. I want to get to 60. Yeah, I'm stitching. Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
trying to get off of them, trying to escape.
not off the dome, man. I'd have to read. You know how long it's been since I performed.
No, I'm trying
So
to
like, let's think
of
if Diddy had walked up to us and said the same exact thing, right? It was like,
No, I got one since we're trying to inspire
Boom.
ups and downs.
oh, okay. If you feel it, well, dog cussing that's one though.
No, you don't. Go for
He
it.
said we gotta make sure it's PG-13. All right.
You gotta remember it though. This is random. If you feeling down, don't feel bad. Everybody does it. Don't trust it. The people acting like they don't go through nothing. It's natural, even practical. Take you a sabbatical and come back afterward. I forgot it, man. It's random, man.
I know. I think I know mine.
That's a long time ago.
How many people feel defeated? Take my hand. Take my hand. Don't hesitate to reach if you need it. I know your energy's depleted. I'm here for you, and I possess the shoulder you've been needing. I see you hurt and I greet it. I know that this is one of those seasons where you feeling like you have no reason for being placed on this earth. When you've seen and felt so much hurt that you rather be placed in the coffin, buried deep within the dirt. But I'll remind you of your worth. Let me be your mirror and paint you a pretty picture. To kick this thing off, I start with some of your facial features. To no surprise, I'm looking deep within your eyes. And though you crack a smile, your eyes don't match the same disguise. What hides behind the shades are true feelings that nobody could imagine that you were concealing. Even though you seen the car. Even though you seen the car's that light's been dealing, your vision has been so relentless. As I look upon your gaze, I see purpose in better days, searching and burning with such a blaze.
He took a throwback on that one, man. That was a throwback, man. That was a real throwback.
Moving on from the shoulders that hold the weight of the crown, where the most powerful weapon can be found. And what do I see? What do I see peeking around with very little discretion? I see the creeping presence of depression, even though depression ain't nothing but a mental recession. Even though depression ain't nothing but a mental recession, trying to block you from the blessings that you were destined to chase. No matter what's in your way, just take it from day to day, moving at your own pace and live your best life. No matter what nobody got to say, regardless of their judgment, you up to something. Even if your dreams don't match your budget.
Versus that long?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Hey, you know that.
But the last line was, nobody's perfect, and I get that. And only God can guide you in situations that's pitch black.
Bars.
Yeah.
Bars. I've been
it seemed a lot longer
because
I stumbled, but...
All right, you guys.
Sorry about that, John.
Yo, absolutely. Absolutely. Mama, I hate when you put me on the spot. I don't even know what to say.
Mama.
But
this has been swell. I've enjoyed myself
thoroughly.
This
has been dope. This has been fire.
Thank you for
we
the
gotta
invitation.
do this. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. Y'all, this has made my night. I'm just gonna say it like that. Like, this has been fantastic. And we will definitely be doing this again. We don't know when, but it's gonna happen. Y'all just stay tuned. This was Vybin with Autumn Le Poete.
You know the vibes.
Yeah.
CJ the Great. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm Chris Hemingway on Facebook. Parentheses CJ the Great. You dig what I'm saying?
Not the government.
Chris Hemingway. One M. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, it is the real _DTM.
Right.
So THEREAL _DTM.
That boy got a TikTok.
And y'all know me. Autumn Le Poete. That's on all platforms except for Instagram. It's Autumn the Black Poetess. But Black Poetess, you feel me? So, mama, you suck.
Dang.
I love you. I'm trying to what you want me to sing, lady? What you want me to sing?
Yeah. What you gonna sing? That's what I'm talking about, mama. You know what I'm saying? Get her right.
Got you. Angel. Damn.
You're my angel.
You can do it the Anita Baker way, you can do it the Layla Hathaway way.
Ooh.
Damn.
If I could, I'd give you the world, wrap it all around you. Won't be satisfied with just a piece of his heart, my angel. Oh, angel. For my angel.
Take that bitch up.
For angel. You dreams are dreams, and some dreams come true. I found a real dream, baby, when I found you. You're so strong. My angel. For angel. You're stupid. You talking about, boy? Yo! But once again, this was Vybin with Autumn Le Poete. You guys have a fantastic night. Stay tuned for the next one.
Great.
We out!